Hey, welcome back to another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of 1980s pop culture and its influence today. My name's Will, and joining me as always are my friends and co-hosts, Ray and Kat.
Hi, guys.
What's going on?
On today's show, we're going to decide what's going to go into our 1980s time capsule.
Yes, we are.
If anyone could even understand those words that I said. We're gonna each suggest a movie, an album, a TV show, a book, and a toy that best represents the 1980s from however we decide, whatever that means. And then we're gonna debate about which should be preserved for some future, undoubtedly post-apocalyptic generation. Mm-hmm. And this idea was suggested by our Patreon supporter, Bart Arnold.
Who's here
Bart Arnold.
now?
Yes, Bart. And more on that later. Yeah, Bart's with us now as we record this live on Facebook. If you ever want to participate in a live episode, which we do more or less every week, follow us on Facebook, 1980s Now. So as we mentioned, on today's show, right now, we're going to be talking about, and we received this suggestion from, as I mentioned, from Patreon supporter Bart Arnold, who wrote us saying, and this is an abridged version of Bart's message, who's, on here right now, so I say that so he knows I'm not just trying to,
steal his bit.
Yeah. This is an NFT. He sent me. I own this. This is an NFT I have of Bart's email. You could have an NFT of an email. I mean, it's crazy. You just anything digital, you can make an NFT.
Wow.
I came up with this idea of a 1980s time capsule that would be created by 1980s Now. This time capsule would represent the 1980s to someone 100 years from now. And Bart provided a number of different categories, way more than we'd have time to do on this show, for us to put for items that we could pick from to put in this time capsule, but we limited it to TV show, book, toy, movie, and album. We were and how we decided what goes in this time capsule was left for us to decide, right? But it was occurring to me that I don't know if you guys had this problem. Like part of the figuring out what goes in the time capsule was making sure what I was considering really happened in the 1980s. You know. Mm-hmm. Did you guys have that challenge at all?
There was one category that I had a challenge about, from that time. Like I can think of things about the time, but you'll find out.
Okay.
I thought this was one of the easier things we've done because narrowing it down to this made it easy.
All right, cool.
Can't wait to hear.
Yeah.
Considering the struggles that you could have knowing whether it happened in the 80s or not, once again, it's time to play. What's the time? All right, so here I've got 5 hit singles and 5 popular films. Oh. Some happened in the 80s, some didn't. Mm-hmm. I'm going to warn you, the ones that didn't happen in the 80s happened really close to the 80s.
Oh, boy.
All right, so I figure we'll just go back and forth here and just see, out of the 10 here, you'll each get to answer 5. And then we'll see.
Are we competing?
Track here. Of course, everything. Life is a competition, and you're going to win an NFT. I'm going to transfer the rights to Bart's email to one of you guys, the winner.
Nice.
All right, here we go. We'll start with Ray. Okay.
All right.
Ice Ice Baby. So these are all. Did it come out in the 80s or not? Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
Not.
Ooh.
Didn't come out in the 80s. You're saying?
Yep.
That's right.
Nice.
Came out in 1990.
Nice baby.
Kat, this one's for you. Opposites Attract by Paula Abdul. 80s or not? Was it released in the 80s or no?
Paula Abdul. I'm going to say yes.
That's wrong. No, it's right. It came out in the 80s. That's right. I'm wrong. Hey, all right, Ray.
You just hit the wrong button.
I forgot to write down who wrote this song. You guys know this one, though. The King of Wishful Thinking. Kat could sing it for you, I'm sure. I'll get over you.
I'm going to say
80s or
not 80s.
That's right. Came out in 1990.
Nice.
It was featured in Pretty Woman. Don't Stop. This is for you, Kat. Don't Stop to Get Enough by Michael Jackson. 80s or no?
Oh, no.
That's right.
That's like the late 70s, right?
1979.
Yeah.
All right, this last one here for the songs is for Ray. Heaven by Warrant. 80s or no?
Oh, that's 80s.
That's right. You guys are showing your 80s credentials.
That's 89, I believe.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. I hope I don't have to give a specific year.
That's the next category. All right. Now these are 5 films, either the 80s or they didn't come out in the 80s. And so we'll start with Kat since Ray left off here. Misery. Stephen King's Misery, the film adaptation of Misery, 80s or not?
Oh, dear. I have no idea.
Did you not see that film?
No.
Oh.
No, I didn't. I'll just take a guess, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say yes.
That it came out in the 80s.
Yeah, why not?
Sorry.
Ray's shaking his head. Oh, no.
1990.
I should have been looking closer at Ray.
Book's around like 84-ish. And 1990, I think, is when the movie came out.
Yep, 1990. Hey, Ray, this is for you. Rocky 2, 80s or not?
Rocky 2 is not the 80s.
That's right.
Nice.
1979.
That one.
1979. Oh, well, you'll get this one. Major League. 80s or no? Major League. Would you like to pass?
I'm on Ray's. Yes. I'm taking
That's right. 1989. All right, Ray.
All right.
Days of Thunder.
That is
First-
not the 80s.
That's right.
Wow. When was it?
1990.
Oh.
All right, and the last one here for you, Kat, is the film Say Anything. Did that come out in the 80s or not?
Oh, yes.
That's right. Man, you guys are good. Look at that. You proved your worth. Your 1980s
I'm not quite as good, but yeah.
metal. Oh, yeah, you got one wrong, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, I did.
All right, hey, let's get into this. So we're going to offer up our suggestions. We've got a few from folks on the internet. Oh, wait a second. You've got your things there. Should we? I forgot about.
Do we want to? Are we going to open those now?
Oh yeah.
How could I
Yeah, we
forget?
could do that now. So, all right. So you both have received a package here.
I'm so excited.
So these are
I don't
These
smell
little
any
packages.
anthrax, so I think we can open them, Kat.
these are see, these may be something an attempt to inspire or persuade you to select something
it's a
from
cat.
for the 1980s time capsule.
I
So
think it's a cat. Okay.
I think she wrapped up the cat.
That's all.
these are
Oh,
little
no.
time capsules, so to
He's
speak,
onto
provided
me.
by babyboomvintage.com. So both of you have
Check
one.
that out.
Great sound effect.
So let's see what's in those things here.
Ah, look at
far.
that.
I can't get my package open here.
So is there anything
Nice.
in here that might remind you of something, a TV show?
I need scissors.
You each have a book in there.
There's a
Yeah,
book.
I got a Snoopy book.
Do you want to enter that 1980s book in the time capsule for your book selection? Does this change your mind at all?
Let me check it out here and see what it is. Here.
All right. So
I'm still opening mine. Go ahead.
Snoopy's Land of Make Believe. Oh man, when I was a kid, I loved Snoopy.
no kidding.
I wanted my dog to act like him.
Sleep on top of a doghouse.
Yeah, fly planes,
Yeah.
Carries
drink in the
bowl
bar.
around.
Yeah. Get into fights with a bird.
Yeah, his best friend's a bird.
They're buddies.
Eats a stack of human femurs.
Wait, what? Femurs?
Yeah, his bowl is just full of
So
bones, like really high all the time.
That's right.
yeah, it's true. It's
Oh
a
my
carnivore.
gosh.
All right, what'd you get? Is there anything that influenced you there? What kind of shows you got?
Yes.
Oh, what is
I
your
have
book
a-
there? Teddy Ruxpin?
I have the world of Teddy Ruxpin,
Oh, wow.
all about bears. When
So
is
now that's a
bear
book
not
you might
bear?
enter in the book category, or it might remind you of the toy, the Teddy Ruxpin toy.
Silverhawks.
Oh, Silverhawks. That would be a TV
Yeah.
show to enter. Yes.
It's a fuzzy sticker too.
Oh,
no kidding. Like a puffy
Yeah.
one with the little fuzz on it?
Well, it's like
it's just
it's like
thin but
felty.
fuzzy?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
one
like
of those.
fuzzy
Those are-
felty.
Those are supreme. I have a smooth unicorn sticker here.
Oh,
Not
this one's
fuzzy.
totally gonna make Kat jealous.
Uh-oh.
I got Smurf shoestrings.
I would totally put those on my sneakers right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
did you
am
not
jealous.
get shoelaces in there in yours, Kat?
I don't see any. Oh, wait. I have a button. Oh, look. It's Rainbow Bright, a pin.
Oh,
Oh my
there
gosh.
you go.
Oh,
Let's see.
Mork from Mork sticker.
Nice.
Yeah,
That almost looks like it could be an iron-on.
it could be, but I think it's a sticker.
I expect to see that on your next T-shirt, Ray. Oops.
Yeah.
Look, new Kids on the Block trading cards.
Oh, yes. The original NFTs. Yeah. Oh.
Superman 3.
Ooh, all right.
It's a lesser of the Superman movies, but it's still Superman.
Does yours have bubble gum in it?
Oh. No, it has a sticker, it says. 8 super gloss photo cards and 1 sticker.
I am totally going to eat bubble gum from 1983.
Oh, I was going to say, that would be the next challenge. Yeah.
Man. That's going to taste so vintage.
You know, the funny thing about that gum, right, is it was never soft. It was always inedible.
It cracked in half. Oh, I got a fuzzy sticker.
I've got that 18 trading pack over here, Ray. I could eat my gum, too.
The 18. That's right.
Let's see.
I have a fuzzy...
Bart says, go for it, eat it.
I got to say no to drugs pencil.
If only you had that in the 1980s.
Yeah. Well, once I sharpen it, it'll just say drugs.
Drugs.
They put that backwards. They put it on backwards.
Oh, no. How about a ring pop? Got a ring pop.
Oh, you got to have a ring pop, yeah.
You have one too.
Yeah.
We match.
I got watermelon.
This is so
exciting.
exciting.
That's the best flavor.
I got the Plastic Army Man.
Flavor. Cherry. What do you have? What was that last one?
A little toy army man.
Plastic Army Man.
Oh, an army guy. Yeah.
Some weird wrestler guy. I'm not really sure who he is, but.
Oh. I don't know what that is.
He looks like he has some padding on there.
Yeah.
Did you get a blow pop, Ray?
I got the charms, yes.
Yeah.
I love those.
Oh, they're the best.
You could never just suck it down to the gum, right? At some point, you start chewing it and you just crack the lollipop into the gum.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I like the combination of those textures, the soft gum and the crunchy lollipop.
Right on. I got a drug pencil, too.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yeah.
Hers says drugs. Yes, have some.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, there's pretty rainbows on here to make it more appealing.
Has the phone number of a dealer on it.
All right, what else, Ray?
I lost my drug pencil. Oh, there it is.
Oh, no. There, wait a minute. Yep, that matches too. Yep.
You go like that, and if you're like, are you on drugs?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hypnotized.
Serpentine
dance, yeah.
Yeah.
I got this.
Stickers. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I got this little robot guy.
Wow, you got a lot of toys.
Huh.
Nice.
I'm not sure. It's almost like a transformer. But I'm not sure.
Like a little gumball machine guy, a little knockoff guy.
Okay, yeah. Knockoff transformer. You can fit in a gumball machine.
Excellent hoard of goodies.
What is
Check
that?
out. This might be the tour de force
Cabbage
here.
Patch stamp.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
I wonder if it works. I'm gonna
Try it on the wall.
right now. Yeah.
You do that and Ray will chew the
On
gum.
my wall. Yes. Ray, please have the
fair.
gum right now.
I can't because I've been drinking and I don't mix sweets and alcohol. So I'll have to do it another day.
Live. Next time live.
Oh, yeah. Before I start drinking, I'll eat the gum.
Okay.
But not the day you're seeing the dentist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or maybe it should be the day you see the dentist.
I should do it before I go to the dentist.
Before you go.
Yes.
All right, hey, let's do this. All right, so this is the order we're going to do it in, right? So you guys know. TV show, book, toy, movie, album. I figure album's one of the ones, and movies, those are the two categories folks might be most excited about. So and book and toy are least, so we stick those in the middle. It's a sandwich of entertainment. All right, so hey, let's start with TV show. All right, who wants to go first here? We don't really know what so we don't know what each other's is going to advocate for. So anybody excited about sharing theirs? I'll just share mine. I don't care.
I'm excited.
All right.
I'll go.
Go ahead, Ray.
I'm doing Family Ties.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Because it perfectly describes how the transition from the hippies to the yuppies
Right.
and the dumb sister and the bad acting of the youngest sister. It's got it all.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow you turned this into a negative experience. I'm not voting for that.
Did he pick on any of the men in the show? I'm trying to remember.
Did
I had
I?
a lot of dumb sister and dumb mother or something like that.
Yeah.
That Nick guy was really cool.
I heard a lot of massaging there.
Did you see on that old post, someone posted about Scott Valentine that he lived in their guest house and trashed it and never paid rent and beat up Michael J. Fox? This is recent. Someone posted on it, is this true? And then she wrote back, yes, 100% true.
And there was more. I forget what she said, but she kept adding on to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Gave me crabs. Okay. The fresh kind from the Atlantic. Delicious. But they were bad. They were spoiled. Okay. Hey. All right. Family ties. All right. I don't know how we're going to decide if we're going to decide.
We'll just ask Bart.
I don't know.
Okay.
So yeah, Bart should be the deciding judge here. Yep.
Plus,
All right, Bart.
J.J. Fox is in the show. An 80s, straight up 80s, iconic 80s actor. What do you got, Kat?
Well, it might be hard to top Family Ties, but the first thing that came to mind for me was Knight Rider.
Oh, yeah.
David
Me too. Knight Rider for me too. We already win. Yes. We just outnumbered them. All right. Why did you say Knight Rider? Why did you pick Knight Rider?
Why did I say Knight Rider?
Yeah, how is that emblematic of the 1980s or whatever criteria you used?
I just I remember watching it in the 80s.
Okay.
We were big fans of that show, and we loved the car. And I mean, David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say him in the shorts.
Is that
I didn't-
all the other one?
No, they all did it. There's always an episode where they somehow got these dudes in shorts. And then all the ladies are like, man, I like that Knight Rider show.
Oh, yeah. And the shorts in the 80s are short shorts for men and women.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I didn't really care about at that time, at that age.
Yeah, she was like 12.
Men. Yeah, exactly. I was more into the car. The red light,
Oh, yeah. Cylon Warrior, red light.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's, look, so many things. It was created by Glenn Larson, who created so many shows that we love from the 1980s and from the late 1970s. It's like, it's the same reason you picked Family Ties too, Ray. It's like what we talked to David Sirota about, months ago, where it's that lone wolf. It's so not only it's I guess politically, socially, etc., representative of the 1980s in the sense that we had a lone wolf. He didn't work for the government. He was operating on the fringes of the law. He was created by a self-made millionaire. If you remember, he's a different character, Michael Long, who gets shot. He's a cop who gets shot in the face, and then this I guess it's Edward. What's his name from The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, Edward Mulhare plays the billionaire who rescues him. Right, gives him a new face, a new identity. So you got the self-made millionaire thing, the lone wolf, the outside, the government, and then like Kat says, the car, which is like so ahead of its time in the sense that it's artificial intelligence. And so much of the 1980s was about, advancing technology in such a way that it stood out. And the theme song, which, look, I think I picked it as my favorite theme. It was written by Glenn Larson also with Stu Phillips. We talked about that a while ago. They used 5 or 6 synths to create the sound. Come on, that's 1980s right there, straight up. And I learned something I didn't know about it. So here's a piece of the theme, right? Here's a piece of the Knight Rider theme for those who don't remember. So this has nothing to do with the 1980s. I just think this is pretty cool. That when they were creating the theme, they actually borrowed musically from an 1876 ballet, Sylvia, by French composer Leo Delibes, I'm going to say. Okay. And listen to this piece. So I listened to this ballet to find what they were talking about. And check this out. I mean, it's exactly the...
It's just a little more triumphant sounding.
Well, yeah, especially the in-between parts there. All right, I think Knight Rider's going in just by default, Ray.
I don't know.
You can't both go in. There's only room enough for one of each of these things in this small thing here.
I don't know.
So, yeah.
You'll win another one, Ray. Yeah, I'm sure.
He'll bring the rest of them. Nathan Wallace suggested Miami Vice. You can't get more than 80s than Miami Vice, he wrote. I agree. That's so hard.
That was my second choice there. I had trouble picking, but Knight Rider was my first choice. Yeah.
Amy has been screaming Alf over and over again.
Yes, she has.
Let's see. On Facebook, Bart had suggested MacGyver, Miami Vice, and Cosby Show. Mm-hmm. And Robbie Smith over on the 80s Ruled, our content partners group there, suggested Dallas. And, I agree too, in a sense. I didn't watch it, but that idea again about, the American story, you too can be a multi-millionaire if you, I don't know what the story was about.
We're born into money.
Born into money? Exactly. That's so, what's more 80s than that?
Well, what's more American than that?
Right. Okay. Hey, next category, book.
Now, that was my tough one.
It was tough for me too, because I'm trying to think all the books I read in the 1980s, which ones were actually published during that decade?
Yeah.
That was a tricky part. And then among those, did any of those even matter?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I did come up with an answer, but...
I bet Ray has a good one.
But I bet you Ray has a good one. He read a lot of books. He's a well-read gentleman.
I did. And I'll go first again. No big deal. Time Life Books, Mysteries of the Universe, 33-volume set is what I have chosen. Started in 87. The first volume was called Mystic Places. But since it's a book, I'm going with number 7, Mysterious Creatures in the series, with sea monsters and ape men,
cryptids,
the cryptozoology and the pseudoscience of the whole thing. It's all in there.
Nice. You have my vote, is Ray.
By far the best book series. You can buy the whole thing on Amazon right now for like $1,000.
Wow, I'm surprised it even cost that much.
Wow,
these things are awesome.
Is that the one with the commercials? Read the book.
That is it. That is the read the book commercials.
I love that commercial.
I did not even consider nonfiction. That is brilliant. Yep.
Yeah, I thought about nonfiction, but honestly, I couldn't remember. I mean, I can remember some nonfiction books I read, but I don't know if they were published in the 80s. I guess I'd have to dig into it. No, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
I think that wins. But you want?
I don't know. Wait, aren't you considering?
What did you have?
My Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah, exactly. She's offering her Teddy Ruxpin book.
I mean,
I suggested. Go ahead.
I know you're not going to say it. The Satanic Verses.
I thought about that.
That was a big deal when it came out.
Yeah, I guess I was trying to think how it was emblematic necessarily of the 1980s, except satanic panic in a way, but he really got in trouble because of something that we're not going to say on this show. We don't want anybody coming to our homes.
No.
That dude was in hiding.
But yeah, he hid for many years from whatever happened to him. You could look it up yourself and read about it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how that was necessary in the 1980s. Yeah, Amy suggesting It or Misery. Yeah, Stephen King. I read a lot of Stephen King in the 80s. That was published in the 80s, but oftentimes is like It is partly in the 50s, partly in the 80s. So I don't know.
And I read I read Christine. That's the only Stephen King book I've ever read. I read it in the 80s, but I forgot to look up if it was
published in the 80s. Yeah, it was like 86 or something.
Yeah, I'd say King is probably in the 80s. I probably read more of his books than anybody else's.
I'm going with the Time Life, man. Time Life wins for me.
I don't even have to suggest my book. I wasn't going to suggest the book, but it doesn't even matter.
I want to hear it though.
Well, I still want to hear what
Neuromancer. It's nerds know about this book. It's by William Gibson. It was published in 1984. It's the guy who coined or created the cyberpunk, what would you say, genre. But he created in the 1980s. It's a book that's set in the future. But even though it's in part the movie The Matrix is based on some of the concepts there. He has a reality in his book that's this virtual reality that he calls The Matrix. I don't think the Wachowskis hid the fact that they based it in part on him and some manga and all these animes and stuff like that. But I found a quote that because I have terrible reading comprehension. I will read something and literally a day or two later I will forget about it. When we do this show and I read people's books, I'm like rereading stuff like the day of the interview, making copious notes, to have it ready. Otherwise I forget.
Keeping it fresh.
Corey, this novelist and blogger Cory Doctorow said about Neuromancer that it remains a vividly imagined allegory for the world of the 1980s. So I guess I meant to point out was that even though he predicted this sort of some of the different things we have now in the future and some things that are popular now and some of these concepts, philosophical or, technological, that this guy's pointing out that it really was at its heart, though, an allegory for what was going on in the 1980s. When the first seeds of massive globalized wealth disparity were planted and the inchoate rumblings of tech, Ray won. Ray won. All right. I think if there's more than 3 words in a sentence, you have to look up. You probably, probably losing.
Fungible and
All right, Time Life books. Read the book.
Number 7, Mysterious Creatures.
Number 7, Mysterious Creatures, and it's also probably the most interesting one. All right, next up, toy. Let's get rid of toy.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, this one's. I don't think there's going to be a lot of difference between the toys we pick here.
I don't know. This was tough for me.
This
was tough, I think. You want to go again, Ray?
I'll go. A Rubik's Cube. I don't think there's any toy that sums up the 80s better than the cube.
Yeah. And on Facebook, Mike Porter said Rubik's Cube. Mm-hmm. He also suggested the Atari 2600.
That was my 2 finalists.
Yeah. And see, Rubik's Cube, and it was Rubik's Cube and Atari 2600, and I went with the Atari. You went with Rubik's Cube.
See, now those were my 2. And then I said, you know what, though? I got to think of something else, because Ray and Kat are going to say those. So then what I picked was, although admittedly I did not have one, a Nintendo Game Boy. And here's why.
My sister just...
There's so much of it that, to me, represents the 80s. It was an 8-bit machine, so crude graphics and sounds. Mm-hmm. But it advanced, obviously it was an advance on having a home console like the Atari 2600. But I think it was one of those things that sort of showed one of our interests in the 1980s of having more things readily accessible. We wanted, things fast and portable and, smaller. So we got the Walkman. I had this little 7-inch, I don't know, 7 or 5-inch, black and white TV in my room. The Game Boy. I think the Game Boy is just another one of those things that showed sort of how, the evolution of our need to have things faster and more at the ready in the 1980s. Which then pervades everything, in the decades that follow.
I'm with you. I didn't have one myself. My brother did. He loved his Game Boy.
I don't know anybody that had a Game Boy.
No.
It came out late in the 80s. We were too old. That's why.
It was later. Yeah.
Well, I still played video games. I just somehow the Game Boy itself was just not something I ended up getting.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. But all right. This is tough. We got a 3-way challenge here. How do we decide? I'd say we put up a poll, but I don't even know that we can do that. Really.
Ask Bart.
Bart, yeah, what are you doing, Bart?
See, and Bart didn't see if you have any other toys on Facebook that folks posted.
Kathy says Cabbage Patch Kid.
All right, well, there you go. That's not one of the
That's a good one too.
Cabbage Patch or Transformers. 80s. Yeah, that's another one. Walkman.
Yeah. If you Cabbage Patch is good. If you want to ignore 50% of the population, that's fine.
Huh. Now I know what Ray's suggesting. I'm trying to think. Did I have anybody who know any friend that had a Cabbage Patch? I was a boy. No, that's probably true. Oh. All right. Bart says Rubik's Cube. All right, Rubik's Cube it is.
Rubik's Cube.
And
Smart man.
Bart sent us down this path in the first place. Mm-hmm. We're going with Bart. Okay, Rubik's Cube. Yep. Going in the time capsule. All right, here we go. Now this is it gets really interesting to me. What 1980s film are we putting in the time capsule? Now we got a lot of suggestions and help from the folks that posted on Facebook here. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We've got Bart, Top Gun, Breakfast Club, Goonies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Maybe that's it. That's it as far as films. Got a lot of music videos from Lynn here and some other. Let's see.
Yeah, I like that extra category there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is a great category. Yeah, we hadn't thought about that, but all right. So, what do you got? Why don't we just continue how we're doing? Ray, what?
I am going with the greatest scene in all of cinematic history.
Oh boy!
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh my Lord!
Let me say, I don't know what scene you're talking about. When the pizza gets delivered?
Nope. We're gonna say the Phoebe Cates scene needs to be in the capsule.
Oh. You know what? You got me realizing when I was thinking about this, I wasn't considering picking a film that had like a lot of great 80s music in it.
Mm-hmm. Great soundtrack. Spicoli, Mr. Han.
I think I went down the wrong path here.
Yeah. Brad in the bathroom scene. I mean, these are all typical 80s things that happen.
Say it's all the things we did in the 1980s.
I tried to pick something a little more accessible to more audiences.
To 50% of the audience?
Younger.
Or to 100% of the audience?
100% of the people were allowed to see this movie. It was the 80s.
I was allowed, but...
There you go.
What did you pick, Kat?
I picked the Ghostbusters as my top choice.
Okay, that's a good one too.
Yeah. I had a couple other backups there, like Footloose. Goonies was one of my choice. Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's what I picked. Back to the Future.
You picked Back to the Future, all right?
Yeah, and I was thinking that, and like maybe I was thinking about these things too deeply and not just going like emotionally. Because again, you got a film that, look, it's set in the 80s, but most of it takes place in the 1950s, which I think is one of those things that, again, shows where we were at, our heads were at in the 1980s.
Sure.
So you have a very 1980s feeling film as far as the technology and the story and all that stuff, the action of it. But it's set in the 50s because, as we talked again about, how so many people wanted to take us back to the 50s as far as, thinking that things were better then. It wasn't. But, the people that were in charge at the time, our parents and their, the older folks thought it was. So, very much like Knight Rider, it's sort of similar in that regard. If you take the whole trilogy, it also gave us those glimpses of what they thought the future would be like, because we saw 2015 had flying cars.
Yes.
So in that sense, also, that was a very 1980s thing, I think, that probably had been going on for long before the 1980s, showing that by the year 2000, we would have all these miraculous inventions.
Like the Jetsons. Yeah.
Yes. So I said Back to the Future. But you said Ghostbusters, and we got Fast Times at Richmond High. And,
Pretty
very different films. We can't fit them all, though.
Well, I picked mine based on in 100 years.
People still want to see boobies?
Yes, and how did it depict 1980s life? That's how I picked the movie.
That's true. That's true. Huh? You're persuading me here. You're persuading me. Yes.
I think that one with the there's the mall, there's stoners, there's
I'm switching my vote.
chicks.
I think Ray's. That's a good way to think of it.
It's got football. It's got everything.
Ghostbusters. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you could see life in the 1980s, but it's that sci-fi element that, why Back to the Future is not as good a choice either. Yeah, it's almost like a documentary in that sense. That Ray's suggesting. Fast Times.
You think Fast Times is
Fast Times.
It is
not Ghostbusters. No.
Well, technically, Cameron Crowe wrote this thing, and it's based basically on a true story.
That's true. Right, it's based on his book, right? Yeah.
Bart agrees with Ray.
Yep. And with me, Bart. I agreed too. I agreed
there
before
you go.
you agreed.
I have swayed the crowd.
All righty.
I shall climb off my soapbox now.
All right. That brings us to our final category then, which is music.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not even specifically music, an album. So it has to be an album that collectively, all the songs, not just one good song. And let's see, we got some music suggestions, of course. So Kathy wrote Duran Duran for Kat. She added for Kat, so not for her, for you, Kat.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah.
Oh, Bart also wrote about music videos, so somehow that became a thing. Well, Bart's original suggestion to us included a number of categories and probably included music videos.
And Bart, do not worry. I have them all written down, and I will be doing a Patreon exclusive episode about the rest of them.
We
no doubt exclusive of me too.
Well, did you write them down? Did you write them down and do the rest of them?
I save my emails. I've got it.
No. That's right, Ray. You had to forward that to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Where did you get this list
and that's called a Bartreon exclusive, we call those. But Lynn wrote Making of Michael Jackson Thriller. That's something that should be in a time capsule. See music videos. Bart wrote Aha, Take on Me, Twisted Sister, We're Not Going to Take It. And then Lynn has a bunch of other videos here, music videos. She wrote music / music videos. Duran Duran, Hungry Like the Wolf, Madonna Like a Virgin, Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Walk This Way, Run DMC, and Aerosmith. The entire Beastie Boys license to Ill.
Oh, she's just trying to get your vote.
All right, let's see. Ray, what do you got? What music album should go into the time capsule?
You would think I would have picked 1984, but I did not.
No, okay. I had some guesses. 1984 was one of them.
Already.
I did not pick that album because I think there's a better album that represents the 1980s as a whole.
Is it a soundtrack album? That can't count.
It is not.
Okay.
In 1986,
right,
Poison released Look What the Cat Dragged In. Wow. And there is not a bad song on that album. And they're all about sex and drugs and rock and roll, every last one of them, and partying all day long. The perfect album. it basically made the blueprint for every hair metal, glam metal album that came after it.
See, all right.
Talk Dirty to Me, I Want Action, Look What the Cat Dragged In,
I think that's
Number One Bad Boy, Let Me Go to Show, Cry Tough. The thing's loaded with top 10 awesomeness.
I think that's
It did hit number 3, by the way, on the Billboard.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
Look, the thing for me was, and I guess as I say this, though, it sounds like I'm going to contradict myself in a moment when I say what I'm talking about. The thing that was hard for me is you pick one album within one genre. You can't. There's no compilation. There's no band that performs in like various genres.
Right.
So you wind up saying either hair metal is representative of the '80s, or pop music, or hip hop. I mean, new wave. You just, I don't know. Okay, I'm not. Kat, what do you think?
What do you
I'm not. If Kat might just say the same thing as me, and then we're done.
I'm so curious. Much like Ray, you might have thought
Kill 'Em All. She's going with Kill 'Em All.
That would have been another excellent choice, but
that was my other guess for you. Kill 'Em All.
Well, I don't think it represents the whole of the '80s as much as Poison did.
You put a lot of thought into this, Ray. More than
Somebody's got to.
Yeah.
You might have thought that I would have picked like Rio, but I didn't.
I thought for sure.
Because I thought, that's too easy. That's
7
too
in the
predictable.
Ragged Tiger instead. Oh, that's going to be the twist?
Yeah.
No.
You would have thought I picked Rio.
If I picked Duran Duran,
I picked
Ray
Arcadia.
picked Van Halen, and you picked Beastie Boys, we'd just be arguing all the time. So I picked something that I felt like, I'll use that word accessible again. I'm going to use.
Okay.
I picked something that I thought everybody could enjoy. And that did seem.
Did you consider Ray when you among everybody though?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. Ray's part of my everybody.
So we'll get to find out immediately.
We'll find out here in a second.
Thriller. I picked Thriller.
Okay.
Yep.
Ray, would you enjoy Thriller?
I owned a Thriller as a kid.
Yeah.
I like some of the songs. I don't like some of the songs, but I would say overall that's a good album to pick for the 80s because, I mean, it is a gigantic selling album.
Right. The whole number one thing, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't own it myself. My sister did, and she let me borrow it sometimes.
You have
I
a
got
sister?
To stick that in my.
We never talk about her.
Oh, yeah.
Annie?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Annie.
I thought about Thriller,
Did you think about
but then I said, you know what? Can't be Thriller.
Why not?
Because for me, something about the sound, for me, a lot of it was about the sound. Like, what sounds like representative of the 1980s, either where we're at or where we're going. And Thriller, I thought, sounds too much like a echo or shadow of like the 70s, the late 70s.
Okay.
And a lot of it still sounds a little disco-y, which I love Thriller and I love disco. But it just wasn't enough of that. For me, I thought it had to have some natural instruments, but also had to have some synths in it, which is why I ultimately decided hair metal couldn't be it unless it, like, 1984 might have been a good choice because you got synths in there too.
Yeah.
But also it still leans pretty rock heavy. But look, I'm going to contradict myself right now, but it's not a hip hop album because I could have easily picked one of those, of course. As you know,
You
could have.
I picked Madonna's debut album, Madonna.
Oh, wow. How interesting.
Which was released in '83. We talked about some of this, I think, before. It was her. She wrote most of the tracks. She had one producer, Reggie Lucas, at first, and then she didn't like what he was doing, so she brought in Jelly Bean Benitez, who we talked about him when we did, I think, a one-hit wonder episode or something like that. But the technology-wise, they used a bunch of cutting-edge technology at the time as far as keyboards. They used the Linn drums. Drum machine, which was used in so much 80s music, including rock songs, a Moog bass, OBX synthesizer, which stuff we talked about a long time ago with Professor Mike. But it also has some traditional instruments on it, including the ubiquitous sax is in, at least one song, maybe more, but you hear some of that. Tons of hits, just like Ray was saying about it. This is the album that you got Borderline, Lucky Star, Holiday, Burning Up, Everybody, at least one other there. There's a couple other songs on there. And the music videos, tons of music videos for all those songs were huge. It peaked at number 8 on the Billboard 200. So I don't know. You said what Poison was number 3 when it was
number
on
3.
there? Okay, so this was 8, certified 5 times platinum.
Poison's only 3 though.
All right, well, there you go.
3 times platinum.
Let's see. 10 million sold, 10 million copies worldwide. Top 10 in the charts in, I don't know, several countries here that are listed here. But as far as the sound goes, I think it's more of, it's not rock, obviously, but it's
Right.
Emblematic of that pop sound that was coming out and then would carry us through the rest of the 80s and beyond, really. Mm-hmm. All right, we have no consensus here. Do we dare go to Bart just so we can agree with Ray, or do we just Kat and I decide to ignore Bart? Then we'll have a plurality or something.
Well, I got to say, I'm much more inclined to go with Madonna than I am with Poison.
Oh, I'm convincing Kat.
You are. Much more. Not to exclude anyone, but I appreciate the musical focus, the whole variety of instruments that were very important in the 80s.
Bart says he's going to pass. He doesn't want to wade into this controversial, highly charged one.
Those two, though, I would have to say I prefer Thriller to the Madonna album because I don't think Madonna's a very good singer. And I think without the videos, the album's not as good.
I agree as far as the singing goes. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think songs standing on their own, I think Thriller overall is a better album. I think the songs are better written.
All right,
like I said, I like Lucky Star, but only because of the video.
Okay.
All right, so in the end, we've got 2 Madonnas to 1 Thriller. So still Madonna gets it, right? Because Kat switched already. You can't go. You're not going with Kat. Kat switched already.
Well, no.
Well, now I'm going to convince her to come back to Thriller.
Well, I didn't switch. I was letting you know that if I had to switch, I would switch to Madonna and not Poison. I didn't say I gave up on Thriller.
Well,
I'm still with Thriller. If Ray's coming to Thriller, I'm with Thriller.
Yeah, I have no problem going to Thriller. That was a huge album.
Ray just doesn't want to lose.
No, I had the album.
Right,
I did not have the Madonna album.
I think it's an obvious choice. We're not teaching anybody in the future anything except that disco was popular in the 80s, briefly at the beginning of the 80s.
I'll tell you what, I had that jacket, so.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Donga wins it.
Donga wins.
Came back to Donga. Hey, if you like Donga.
And you know you do.
Look up Clowns in a Porta Potty. No. All right, hey, that's it. All right, so what's going in the time capsule here is, what is it? Knight Rider, Time Life Mystic Books number 7.
Right.
A Rubik's Cube, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and Michael Jackson's Thriller. What an eclectic collection of things there.
I think that represents the 80s pretty well, though.
I think so, too. Yeah.
As
I think in the end, even though some of these weren't my first choice, I think in the end, this is really good. This is a good list. Solid.
Yeah, I think you should chuck a fingerless leather glove in there, too, just for shits and giggles.
And a belly shirt that could be worn by a man or a woman in the 1980s.
Right.
And some of these. Look at my bandanas.
Bandana
These are from the 80s.
Oh, yeah, you got some bandanas in there, too.
They're from the 80s.
Something you could win on our 80s trivia when you go.
Oh, yeah, go put those in your basement.
Yeah. Hide them
Quick.
so we can find it.
So the cats can get them all furry. Yep.
Keep it away from the hermit crabs. All right. Hey, that's the show there. So, hey, our show is brought to you, every episode is brought to you by our many wonderful supporters, including especially our Patreon. There. It's the same list every time, Will. You know it by heart. Why are you even looking? Because it's been at least 10 days since we've recorded.
At least.
I want to make sure I don't leave anybody out because we are grateful for everybody.
John Henderson.
Including John Henderson. I was going to wait for Bart Arnold, who also came up with the idea for this episode.
Yay.
John Reddick.
John Reddick. That's not all. There's Craig Coletta and John Kaminsky. There you go. I don't know.
There you go.
That's all of them anyway.
There you go.
Hey, if you've got a suggestion for an episode like Bart did, just email me at will@1980snow.com. Or if you've got other ideas of what should have been on a time capsule and want to tell Ray how he was wrong, you can email me at will@1980snow because I will proudly tell him that. I need a need a way to do that. Okay, whatever. That's dumb.
Wait, can I say something?
Yes, please.
If you go to patreon.com/1980s now, you could maybe encourage Ray to create a non-fungible token of 1980s now that he will happily sell you.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I'm totally selling our logo as an NFT.
Can we do it old school though, Ray? Like you actually draw something on a piece of paper and they get that?
Yeah.
Well, no, we have to take a picture of the piece of paper because I need to get my residuals.
Just dumb.
I'm only selling the digital copy to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we could be rolling in the dough.
Mm-hmm.
We could be rolling in the Dogecoins.
Rolling in the Doge.
The Dogecoins.
All right. Hey, we will talk to you next time on 1980s Now.
See ya.
Later.